10 years ago, they sent a machine from the future to get Sarah Connor. It failed. Now they have a new target, the future leader of the resistance, John Connor. The battle for tomorrow begins today. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a movie that released in 1991. It would then get several video game ports as well as an arcade game called T2 the Arcade Game. I'll specifically be going over the Sega Genesis and Game Gear ports of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because while I would like to try the Sega Genesis port of T2, I can't do it justice until I get a Sega Manager. Now the movie was freaking awesome. It felt like a strange mix of sci-fi and horror, but whatever the case may be, it led to a very good outcome. Mind you that I was spoiled on the plot from playing the video games first, but even when I went into the movie knowing what was going to happen, it was still a really good time. Unfortunately, the games are the exact opposite. You've ever heard of a company called LJN?
Game and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, now on Super NES, Genesis, and Game Gear.
Usually when their logo's on a game, it's either going to be really bad, really difficult, or a mix of both. But wait a minute, the Sega Genesis version was published by Flying Edge, which is a division of Acclaim, and Acclaim bought LJN well before this game's release. Okay, maybe I'm getting too deep into this, but it could explain why the Sega Genesis port is flawed. One life and no continues, stiff controls, and important mechanics that aren't explained in the game itself. This game will punish you hard if you don't know what you're doing or where to go, which is interesting because it's not very difficult otherwise. There aren't any tricky jumps, insanely difficult fights, or even traps that will cause an instant game over. You would just have to adapt to the controls and know what to do in order to get through it. Speaking of the controls, I should go over them. If it isn't obvious, we'll start with the Sega Genesis port first. A fires your primary weapon, B fires your secondary weapon, and C will jump. The goal of Terminator 2 Judgment Day is to complete specific objectives in order to finish the level. Most of these levels will have you collect future objects, and by collect I mean destroying them with your weapon and then collecting them by crouching over them. Don't ask me, I didn't make this game. With the exception of the final level, each level will end with a driving section. During this section, A will turbo, B will accelerate, and C will reverse. These sections will have you drive to the location of the next level while avoiding other vehicles along the way. The compass on the top right does point you to where you have to go, but it can be a detriment in certain levels as you will end up getting lost if you solely depend on it. If your health reaches 0 in the driving section, it's game over. If your health reaches 0 in the main levels, you'll switch to your secondary power source and gain 50% of your health back. Once that's gone, it's game over. As for completing objectives and facing off against enemies, you can either use your pistol or your secondary weapon. The pistol is very weak, but it has infinite ammo. There are multiple secondary weapons to find that are much stronger, but they have limited ammo. You can find more ammo by defeating enemies or from the boxes found in level 5. Ammo carries over from level to level, so it's important to keep an eye on your ammunition as you get near the end of the game. There's a lot more to explain during the long play, but if you'd rather read a written guide I made for this game, you can check the link in the description below. Now let's go stop the T-1000. Alright, and this is my long play of Terminator 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now I should mention that I am commentating over a run I already did, and I do have a little bit of a sore throat, which was making this video take longer than it was supposed to because I wanted to get some rest first. But yeah, if I do sound a little off, then I do apologize in advance. But yeah, in this run I am going to go over what I was doing, the objectives, and how to get through each stage. Again, I do think that this game isn't super difficult if you know exactly what to do and where to go, but even when you do, there are a few difficult moments that I do have to mention throughout the long play. Now you can see the intro here is similar to the movie where the T-800 like appears and then he gets some clothes. And then after this, the game will go back to the title screen and we will begin. But yeah, there are some difficult, like, really it's just the driving sections that was like kind of messing me up in a sense because I did do a few practice runs before I was doing this run, and I was actually screwing up a lot because like I kept forgetting where to go, like I didn't check my notes. But yeah, this run was pretty decent all around. Anyways, the game begins. Immediately walk left and go in the door in the middle. You have to find your pistol. You have to find a pistol and a shotgun. Now go inside this door and defeat the enemy right here to get the pistol. He'll always drop it, so just 3 to 4 punches should do it. There we go. Pick up the pistol and shoot the future object. Now remember, you have to destroy it, you have to shoot it first and then press down to collect it. And if you see me skipping, it's to go faster. Now go to the right and shoot the guy with the shotgun. That will give you the shotgun weapon, and Now all we gotta do is get one more future object and get John Connor's address. So leave the bar, and you want to head to the, I don't know why I had right. Yeah, there we go. So you want to head to the left, and there should be a future object coming up to the left side. Alright, shoot that. Pick it up. Again, I don't know how that makes sense. And yeah, just keep going right, and one of these phone booths will have John Connor's address. It's the one to the right of this one. Press up. There we go. And that is all objectives completed. I think I paused right there because I was trying to skip the text. And to do that, you have to press start. So yeah, a lot of this stage will be me skipping around like an idiot because that's the only way to move faster than like walking normally. But yeah, now for the first driving section. The controls, I don't think I said this in the intro, it felt like all of the vehicles you drive like skated on butter. Turning is like is so loose, and it makes it very easy to like make mistakes. Anyways, you can see that the compass is pointing southwest, so that's where I'm driving, and I'm paying attention to it like while I was doing this section. So you can see that's about to change to northwest, and that's when I was trying to turn early there, but I failed miserably. But yeah, you just make that turn and you're already in stage 2. So this stage you have to find John Connor's ID. Now make sure you shoot this alarm at the top. If you don't and you walk inside the house, a bunch of like cops will start spawning, and I think it also includes the T-1000 as well. But yeah, the first thing I do is go in this room. You'll find a future object, and yeah, there we go. And make sure you destroy these drawers, because one of them actually has John Connor's ID. And you can also search them instead by pressing and holding up, but I think the fastest way to do it is to just destroy them with your pistol. You can use your shotgun too if you want, but obviously that does waste ammo. So yeah, you gotta shoot that ladder. I don't... Oh wow, I actually found the ID by searching it. Okay. I actually did want to show that you can also search the drawers, but I got lucky there. Alright, so I did find the ID. I found another future object. For the longest time, I didn't know you were supposed to shoot the ladder, so I remember when the first time I've ever played this game, I was actually stuck in that room for a very long time. I should say stuck in the stage because I didn't know how to get to the last future object. But you can see that I'm heading to outside where the garage is. Now you go to the right here. There's one more future object, and I think that should be it. And now we just gotta leave. Yeah. So now you just gotta head left. And now you just have to go all the way to the right to enter the next driving section. So far so good. It's going really well. And you might briefly see it, but in the status screen it'll show like the stats, like the accuracy and the efficiency. I think the efficiency is like your grade. So in order to get 100%, you have to like almost like never miss. You have to barely do damage to the house and all of that stuff. I have no idea if getting 100% efficiency on all stages do anything, but other than that, I don't know. I don't think it matters. I'll probably test that out on my own time, like after I'm done with this commentary. I do have to commentate over the Game Gear version as well. So you can see another simple driving section. I was just driving towards the arrow, and now I just gotta go southeast, and that should be to the third stage. Alright, there it is. So in this stage, we actually have to find John Connor. Pretty simple stage. It's easy to get lost again if it's your first time, but other than that, I already knew where to go, so it's pretty simple. So yeah, for this part, you just want to keep walking to the left. And now you want to walk to the right, obviously. You don't have to hit any of the enemies here, and I think it actually makes it harder if you do, because then they would just aggro towards you. But yeah, enter the first door you see, there will be a future object, so I'm going to shoot it and collect it. I think what's going on with the future objects is that when you shoot it, it opens, and then you see like the future object inside it. Like, it's hard to tell due to this right. But yeah, enter the next door and keep going all the way to the right. And you appear right here, so just keep walking right, you find another future object. There we go. And now you gotta go left, and you should, I think the door coming up leads to an escalator. Now there will be a future object on the top. We're not gonna get that one yet. First we're going to go to the right in order to get the third future object, which is right here. And now we can go back in order to get the last future object, which is great because it actually leads into where John Connor is, which is all the way up. Now for the escalators, you just gotta keep jumping. I don't think this is the only way to get up here. I'm pretty sure I was like the other way to like go through a door and then go up the steps, but this is technically quicker, as silly as it looks, so just keep mashing the jump button as you go up the escalator. because obviously it's going down, so that's why you see me constantly getting pushed back. Alright, so there's the arcade. You want to go straight inside there and find John Connor. Now, I actually got stuck here as well because of a mechanic, and you're gonna see that in a bit. So I'm jumping to the right. There's a C1000. John Connor's right there. What you have to do is pause the game, set him to follow you, and then leave the stage. I did not know this the first time I played, so I was stuck for a long time. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was like, okay, John Connor's right there. Like, what am I supposed to do here? And like, it's like, oh, you're just supposed to pause the game. I was like, all right. But it is what it is. Once you do know that, like, John will follow you, and then you just go all the way to the right, then you go down these stairs, and soon should be the exit to the stage. And yeah, you just gotta walk to the right, and that's it. Now, I should have mentioned that usually when you enter a door, even if you're the person following you is far away. Oh, wow, I got 100% efficiency there. Usually if the person's far away and you enter the door, they'll still appear with you when you enter the door. I did have a moment where that didn't happen. I had to go back and get them. I don't know if it happened in this run in particular, but it did happen in like my previous runs. And yeah, like, just keep an eye on that. The best way to tell if someone's like still following you is just to press start and check the status. Okay, so for this stage we have to locate Sarah Connor, and this is where the stages get longer and longer. So the first thing I always like doing is going all the way to the left because there is a future object on the first floor. So you can just see me like hopping around as usual. I think it's to the left. It's in this door right here. And you just want to get it, shoot that. And you might realize that sometimes I don't really bother with the enemies. You can take a lot of hits in this game, like rightfully so. You are the T800, you are a machine. But yeah, you can take a lot of hits, and like you don't actually have to like defeat every single person you see. That does change near the end of the game, where the enemies get really dangerous and can like really like put your health bar down if you don't like actually try to shoot them down. Alright, so I'm going to take the elevator all the way to the 6th floor. What you're supposed to do is go to the 2nd floor, scan the computer in order to find where Sarah is, but I'll get into that later. The first thing I'm trying to do here is find all the future objects. So that's the 4th floor. I'm taking this elevator all the way up to the 6th floor first because that floor actually has 2 future objects to find. So go inside the gray door behind the desk, and there's 1 future object right there, and you want to keep walking right. And there is another future object. It's funny how I said walking right when I'm technically hopping right. But yeah, those are 2 future objects. There's 1 in the 4th floor and 1 in the 2nd floor. So for this part, I'm actually going to take the stairs instead of the elevator. So yeah, there's a 5th floor. We're going to go down 1 more flight of steps. By the way, get used to this track. It's the only track in the game, at least for the main stages. And yeah, there's oh wow, I actually went left instead. I was supposed to go to the right because again, you gotta find another gray door that's behind the desk. That's where the future object is in the 4th floor. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's a future object. I'm pretty sure sooner or later I do start actually like trying to hit the enemies and all that. Alright, so I think for here I can't take the steps because for some reason, you know, hopefully I'm not wrong, that the stairs doesn't have a door for the 2nd floor, so you actually have to take the elevator. So yeah, keep walking to the right of the 2nd floor, and there should be a future object just like out in the front. But I think the first thing I do is actually oh no, okay, I do that after. Because you are supposed to be in the 2nd floor in order to get where Sarah is. So yeah, there's a future object. That's the last one, which is great. And the T1000 appeared, so he'll be following us he'll follow us for the remainder of the stage. Now, when you get to this room, you just want to hold up on the computer, and it'll tell you what floor Sarah Connor is in, which is floor 4. Now, you might be wondering, well, if you already know where she is, why not just go? Like, you don't have to go here. Well, you do, because every time you turn this game on, she appears in a random floor, and again, unless you check the computer, you won't know which floor that is. So her location is randomized every time you reach this stage, which actually goes the same for when you get John Connor's ID in stage 2, where like it won't always be in the same place like where I found it in this run. It can be in a different place when you play through this game. I'd recommend you try to play through this game, but I digress. And so I'm gonna keep going right here. If she's in the 4th floor, that means she's probably in one of these gray doors. I kept going right just in case, just to see how many of them there were. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know why I went in there. I was supposed to go in the doors to the left, but yeah. So now we just gotta find Sarah Connor. So just keep checking these doors. Eventually you'll find her in one of them. Just keep going. All right, there she is. Now, similar with John, you have to pause the game and tell her to follow you. I didn't get as lost in this part because once I found that out with John, then like I was like, okay, it's probably gonna be the same case with Sarah. So yeah, that part is a bit more self-explanatory, but it is a bit confusing nonetheless. So yeah, after you find her, and since I've already destroyed all future objects, we can leave the stage. And I should mention that it just escaped my head too. It was something related to like them following you. It'll probably come back to me once in a bit. Can't believe I lost my train of thought already. But yeah, to exit the stage, you do have to have both of them nearby. And now we gotta enter the hardest driving section. Now, before I get to what I was going to talk about, I have to talk about this driving section because it's the hardest one in the game. So you want to drive until you reach a dead end and then go southwest. Now, you need to go southeast on the 3rd intersection. There's one. I keep driving. That was one intersection. Wait for it. 2, 3. Now you want to go southeast and keep driving straight, and you'll soon be at the desert. And when you see an intersection, that's when you want to go southwest. Not a road, but an intersection. So we're just going to keep driving here. It's coming. Just got to wait for the desert. There we go. And wow, it turned very early there. I was trying to like anticipate it. Oh yeah, but yeah, there it is. So yeah, now we end this this part. There's going to be a lot of driving around. You're gonna see a lot of turns. But yeah, I do have to take a northwest turn. I should say the 2nd turn. But yeah, after you take the first turn, you see northwest. You just have to go through all of this turning. Then you gotta go northeast. And now from here, you just have to make all of these turns in order to get to the stage. It's very easy to take a lot of life here. I kind of got lucky despite how bad I'm driving here, but again, the controls are not very smooth. But yeah, I didn't make it, which is really good. Alright, so this stage, easiest stage in the game. Technically more easier than stage 1. Even though it's easy to take a lot of damage here, there's no way you can really die. Now what you have to do here is shoot these boxes to find weapons and the explosives. Get the rotary cannon. It's from here that I should mention that when you get the weapon, you have 100 rounds. Obviously it's an automatic, so you can hold it to like fire rapidly. And there's a lot of ammo here. Now something I have to mention here. When a different weapon drops, like the auto rifle, don't ever pick it up, no matter what, even if it drops in the later stages, because I'm trying, like from here, I'm just trying to shoot all of the background objects to find the explosives. Alright, there it is. And then once you find the explosives, you can leave. And make sure you leave with at least like 900 more rounds available. And I'm not even gonna waste my rounds on these guys. I'm just going to leave the stage. But yeah. Don't ever pick up a different weapon, because not only will it replace the weapon you have permanently, but it'll also have like low ammo, have like 100. So if you have the rotary cannon with like 900 ammo, you pick up a rifle, then now all of a sudden you have a different weapon with only 100 rounds, and like you already dropped the cannon, so you're pretty much screwed in that sense. Anyways, for this part, you pretty much have to drive back the way you came, so as long as you retrace your steps, it's not too bad. And really the goal is to get out of the desert and then head to Dyson's house. So it should be self-explanatory just by you watching it. I don't really need to keep saying like which directions to go. But yeah, these later driving sections can be confusing. I still think like the one before this, level 5 or whatever, I still think that's like the hardest like driving section in the game, because again, the first time I did it, I died so many times trying to figure out where to go. It is ridiculous. And even when I did know where to go, there were times where I just died from taking too much damage, because like everything's just constantly bumping into you. And again, the controls aren't great. So yeah, oh, No, I'll mention that in you know what? I'll mention that in the next stage because I remember what I wanted to talk about, but it's only really important until like stage 7. So yeah, I'll talk about that when we get there. But right now we're trying to go to stage 6. Yeah, you saw that I was having a hard time trying to turn there. I was trying to get to the right place. Any day now. There we go. Okay, Dyson's house. Another simple stage. All you gotta do is destroy his research and find the security key and of course find future objects. So I go right into that right gate because there's a future object to the left. And you can also enter Dyson's house from here as well. So collect the object and then go inside the door. And you can see there's also one on one of the rooms upstairs, so that already pinpoints where that one is. One of these have a future object in it. I don't know why there's a T100 there just standing, but yeah. You want to destroy Dyson's research and destroy the future object and then collect it. You have to destroy his research in order to leave the stage, so don't forget that. So yeah, I got the future object. Well, so far I got 2 and I destroyed the research, so really all I gotta do from here is I have to get the security key and I have to get the last future object. So I don't know what I was doing here because Dyson's room is actually all the way to the left. So I think I go there. Oh wait, yeah, maybe get the future object first. There we go. Okay. So I go to, yeah, I'm gonna go to the left in order to find Dyson. When you find him, you have to, don't shoot him. You have to approach him first and he'll tell you where the key is. So it'll say item positive Miles Dyson. Dyson reveals to you that the key is in the study. If you don't do this, because the thing is, the key doesn't, from my experience, the key doesn't fly out when you destroy the objects. You actually have to like search them on like stage 2. Like you have to search these, search the background objects to find the security key. And whatchamacallit, what was I gonna say? If you kill Dyson before finding out where it is, you're just gonna have to search the entire house because again, just like with Sarah Connor and John's ID, it's randomized every time you turn on this game. So unless like you already know where it is, which you shouldn't because it's random, it is very, oh yeah, this is the study by the way. You can see that I'm pressing up on these objects to find the security key. There it is. Now with all of that accomplished, you now have to leave the stage. But yeah, like make sure you don't kill him, and if you're going to for some reason, at least like get the information first before you do. And yeah, you can see that I was trying to show off that like if you like these enemies in particular are kind of dangerous because you can see my health is dropping like butter. And I also want to show off the secondary power source setting. So you can see right there, rerouting to secondary circuits, and I get 50% back. Now this does trigger every single stage, so you have it for the like entire game where like you start each stage with 100% health, and then once you get to 0, you would get 50% back, which is really helpful because man, if without it, this game would have been much more of a pain in the ass. So yeah, now I'm just driving to stage 7, which is really close. It's actually not that far. And if you are going to like, but yeah, like I just mentioned it already like 100 times. Like get the information from Dyson before you search for the security key because it is random, and if you kill him before then, you won't know where it is at all. But yeah, next up is Cyberdyne. I can't wait to talk about this one because this is technically the hardest stage in the game, like even more so than the final boss itself. And I'll get into why as we go along because there are 2 important mechanics that I haven't actually talked about yet. Okay, locate Cyberdyne vault containing T800 parts. Also deal damage to Cyberdyne by destroying the background objects. So you can see there Sarah and John is following me. Now, you can see here you actually have to destroy certain parts of Cyberdyne. I try to do this in the easiest way possible. What you have to do is get at least 70% by the time you have to plant the bomb, because the game won't let you plant the bomb at the end until you dealt at least 70%. So what I'm trying to do is get to that percentage right before I get there. So you can see that I'm destroying the pillars, I'm destroying the windows. And now I get to talk about the huge problem with this level. You see all these explosions, all these like all of these explosions happening from me destroying all of this, the enemies exploding, like the robots and all that. you see all of these explosions happening. These explosions damage you and John, and like it damages whoever's in the vicinity, whether it be you, John, or Sarah, and it adds up. Like if you keep destroying these while John and Sarah's nearby, it will add up. So the hardest part about this level is not only you trying to stay alive, but trying to keep these two alive. And this is where I get to mention if at any point Sarah or John gets incapacitated, like they run out of health. By the way, you can't see their health by you can see that health by pressing start, and let's check the percentage. And wow, some health dropped right there. That does recover 50%, by the way. But you can check the health by pressing start, and if they reach 0%, they will become incapacitated. Now, if they stay this way for too long, I think they actually give you a good amount of time, maybe like 30 seconds, I think. I don't know. But you get a lot of time, pretty much you have plenty of time to save them. To save them, you have to crouch over them, and this will transfer health to them. And how much health is transferred depends on how long you hold down. So if you want to, you can actually just transfer like 1% of your health, and that'll actually be enough to like bring them back up with 1% health. But of course that means that they will just become incapacitated again in one hit. And with all these explosions happening and all that, and like all of these enemies, it's pretty easy for that to happen. But yeah, this stage is pretty difficult because you need you're protecting these two, and you see, this is what I forgot to mention in stage I think it was stage 3 or 4. I forgot to mention this. Now for this part, you need John Connor. So what you have to do here is actually, I'm trying to wait until like the game calms down for a second. Oh watch, he's at low health. So you have to set You have to set John Follow to no, and that will make him like crack into the door in order to like open it for you. This is another part where I got stuck and I didn't know what to do, but yeah. Like I knew in the movie, like it had something to do with that, but I didn't know how to like actually trigger it, so that took me some time to figure out. But once he does collect the parts, and now you have to find where to place the TNT. This part's very important. Well, you can see here that Sarah didn't actually follow me into that room. And what you have to do from here, set both of them to no. You can set both of them to yes, but again, you don't want them to take damage over and over, because this is where I get to talk about how Sarah and John work specifically in terms of like them being away. When they're off screen, it's not like they're still fighting or anything or still getting hit by enemies. Like right now, they're taking no damage whatsoever. Like they're completely safe because like nothing's going on their screen. It's just like what's going on my screen. So this is where it's like, okay, well, why not just do that at the start of the stage? Two problems with that. One, for the cases of stage for stage 4, if you set John Follow to, yeah, there's a TNT. Again, you can only plant it when it's at 70% or higher damage of Cyberdyne, but once you do, you have to get the heck out of there. And when I find these two, I gotta make sure to set them to follow me, which is because right now they're both set to no. If you don't make John follow you in stage 4 and you find Sarah Connor, she won't follow you because, you know, like she only sees the T800, so she refused to follow you because she doesn't see John. And again, you can't do the same thing here because one, you need John in order to open the door to get the T800 parts. And two, and most importantly, you need Sarah to kind of like shoulder some of the damage you and John are taking. Because it's not like she's useless, you know, like she's actually like firing back. So she is helpful in that regard. So yeah, from here you just gotta escape. You can see that I took the elevator all the way to the like very bottom floor. And yeah, with that is Cyberdyne. I made it look easy, but if you don't know which parts to destroy and like where to go, it's very easy to get for your run to end here. And as I drive to the final stage of the game, I get to mention something funny that happened when I played the SNES version. So if anyone has seen one of my YouTube posts, you know that me and this game is like, I have some personal beef with this game, alright? Because when I was younger, I played the SNES version and I sucked. In fact, one of the gatekeepers was the ladder in stage 2, where like I didn't know how to get the future object and the driving sections especially. Oh man, the driving section of the Super Nintendo version was screwed, but I'll talk about that another day. Anyways, I was stuck on that game as a kid. I could never finish it. I thought it was impossible. I hated it. I still hate this game now, but like I really hated that game back then. So after doing a guide on this game and like, you know, doing this run, I said, you know what? Let me give the SNES version a try, you know, like even though I finished this version, the SNES version is probably like most likely like the exact same, like at least close to the same outside of the driving control. So let me play the SNES version. I did. And the same strats worked, but I got up to Cyberdyne, and I got up to the part where you have to plant the bomb, and right when I entered that room, Sarah collapsed, like she got incapacitated, and it triggered a glitch where I couldn't set the bomb at all. I don't know how, I don't know why it happened. I wasn't recording during this, I was just playing the game casually, so I couldn't even get to like review what the heck just happened. But I was freaking pissed and I just turned the game off. Because it just made the stage unbeatable. Or I should say the game for that matter. Anyways, this is the final stage of the game. If you're expecting different music, you're obviously playing the wrong version, because I think the SNES version actually has the title screen music playing here. So the first thing you want to do is collect the future objects. You can't face the T-1000 in the final fight until you collect all of them. So go inside this door. Thank goodness the game points out that it is a door, because I don't know how you'd be able to tell otherwise, so I give the game props for that. Anyways, go down these stairs. There will be some endoskeletons here. The reason why I'm wasting my ammo on them when I should be saving it for the final boss is they do have a chance to drop ammo. Anyways, there's the first future object. I'm going all the way to the right to make sure there isn't another, because again, I was trying to remember so much about this game. Really, it was the driving sections I was trying to like remember the most, because it's not like I have my notes out when I'm playing through these games. It really depends. Like maybe if it's like an RPG or something, sure. But yeah, like this is so much to remember in this game. But once you get used to it, it's really not that much to remember. So it's actually not that bad in that regard. Anyways, I did get an ammo drop, which is really good, and I took some damage from that falling block. And now from here, you just want to go to the left. You'll find a future object. Then keep walking left to go inside a door, and then again keep going left to find another door. Don't waste your time with the T-1000 here. You won't deal any damage to it because this isn't the final fight yet. You'll find two future objects by going to the right. Oh, wow, another ammo drop. That's really good. I don't remember that happening, but at this point you have if you had 900 ammo, you're pretty much set. I think even 500 ammo is more than enough, maybe even 300. But the two future objects there, you want to go back the way you came and go up this ladder, and you want to go inside this door. I think there's two more future objects left. Alright, so now you want to go up here, and you want to shoot this one, collect it. And this is perfect because we're actually getting closer to the final battle, but again, we got to get the objects first. So you want to go to the left. By the way, those lava drops deal 4 damage each, and you just want to fall down here. There's the last future object. Done. Now we can head into the final battle. So you want to climb up here, and you want to jump over the gap in order to get back to where you came from. And now that we got all the future objects, we can head to the final battle. So it should be 2 rooms away. There it is, the freaking door. And now you just gotta keep going along here. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why it's showing. I guess it was because I had ammo to spare. But yeah, this is a final battle. Now, here's the thing. You see me shooting with the pistol here. The thing is that in the guide I mentioned, yeah, like right here, you can see that right there where I mentioned that it is possible to defeat him with just a pistol. Like you can actually push him out debatably faster with it. I was trying to show that here, but I couldn't get it to happen. Maybe it was because I was supposed to use a rotary cannon first. But even though that doesn't, like, I couldn't get it to work there, it doesn't matter, because if you have plenty of ammo with the rotary cannon, this fight is really easy. Because you see that he would teleport after getting shot a few times, but he reappears a bit further back, so you just have to keep doing this over and over. Really simple fight. But yeah, there really isn't much for me to say here. You just keep doing the same thing over and over. Like, he can't even hit you while you're doing this. It's a really easy fight. But unfortunately, up until now, The game was doing a really good job following the movie. But this shit is ridiculous. So now you have to face the melting T-1000 while lava is dripping from above. And I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this part. I mean, I get it. Okay, the T-1000, oh, we made him too easy, let's make him harder here, but oh yeah, and you can avoid that by jumping away. And that's pretty much the only two attacks it is. It will either shoot these right here, like these the lava drops, or it would just shoot them in a row, in which you can evade it by just like jumping away. And again, I'm not worried about health because I still have the secondary circuits, which would give me 50% health back when I reach 0. I don't know what fanfic they read when they came up with this boss battle, but the idea is simple. Just keep shooting him in order to deal damage. If you have the pistol only, you're going to be here forever, and I doubt you can like beat it in that way unless you dodge every single like fire drop or whatever. If you can do that, then you can beat him eventually, I guess. But yeah, that was Terminator 2 Judgment Day for the Sega Genesis. Fuck this game. I never want to play it again. I hate this game so much. But the thing, oh my god, this music is pissed, and just hearing this music is like, I'm actually getting pissed off. Like, I'm not even playing right now, I'm just like watching my own run, and like, I'm still getting pissed off just watching this shit. The thing is, this isn't the worst game I've played. It isn't, it's not even close. I've played way worse games than this. Because to this game's respect, it does follow the story. It does have like the key moments and all that. It try to, you know, mix it up with the driving and all that. Like, it does have some moments in it that's interesting at least. And the controls are still but whatever. I don't know how to explain why I hate this game so much. It really could just be my experience with it when I was younger. But it's just like, they did well with the story, then they shot on it in the end, but like the controls suck. The game is so freaking slow. I think it comes down to the fact that this doesn't feel satisfying. It doesn't feel fun. And I think that's the worst kind of game, where it's just boring. Like, you just walk and skip along like an idiot. And I don't know, just like nothing feels satisfying about this game. Like, it just doesn't feel fun to play. And because of that, I will never go back to this. I just don't like this game. It's not fun. That's it. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just not a fun game. Again, not the worst game. I've played far worse than this. But it's not fun. Like, I wasn't having fun doing this run, and I'm glad I was done by the end. In any case, let's get to the Game Gear version. The Game Gear version of Terminator 2 is more or less a port of the NES game. However, it's missing a stage and the music took a massive blow. Despite these flaws, the controls feel much better than the Sega Genesis version. It can be more difficult in some areas, but there's plenty of room for error this time around. The controls for this game are simple. Button 1 will fire, and button 2 will jump. In the first stage, button 1 will punch instead. The goal of this version is to complete 4 levels in order to finish the game. Levels 2 and 3 aren't as straightforward, since those levels will have you enter rooms in order to find certain items. This time around, you'll start with 3 lives and you can find more throughout the game. If you run out of lives, it's game over. It still sounds ruthless, but thankfully the checkpoints are incredibly generous. When you lose a life, you'll usually respawn near your recent death. And with that, there isn't much else to talk about. I explained the rest of the game throughout the long play, but as usual, you can always check out the guide in the description below. Now let's see how this compares with the Sega Genesis version. Okay, and now to start the game. So, as usual, I am commentating over a run I already did, and I won't be commentating over this entire long play because this game is much more easier to understand compared to the Genesis port. So as I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, where this game is pretty much a port of the NES version, but it is missing a stage and the music is far worse this time around, as they are more or less 5 to 10 second loops, and they get grating quickly. So, the way to deal with this first section is you have to defeat all of the enemies in this stage, and the best way to do that is two ways. You can either keep punching an enemy, like right here, because you keep them in stun lock and they can't hit you back, but when two or more of them are grouped up, it's like the other two can actually hit you, and in that situation what you want to do is you want to jump on like the truck or the car, and when you jump on top of them you actually deal damage, and it can actually hit like multiple enemies at once as well. So you're going to see me jump around a lot in those scenarios and like pretty much like punch everyone out. And with that, I don't really have much else to say about this stage. Again, it's really that simple. And if anything, I'll be back for when we get up to the boss. Alright, so coming up is a boss, and he's pretty easy. All you have to do is punch him and then run away before he hits you back. Okay, yeah, I did take a hit there. But yeah, that's what you have to do. After about 6 or 7 hits, he does go down. There we go. And yeah, that was stage 1. Yeah, level complete. And coming up is some story text. Okay, level 2. This one is a bit confusing. Well, it's not confusing. I should say it's just a little tedious. But it doesn't make it an awful level. So the whole gimmick of this level is that you start on floor 1 and you have to get to floor 6 in order to find Sarah Connor. The problem is that in order to ride the elevator, you need to find a key card. And the key card will take you 1 floor up, in which you have to find another key card in order to take another floor up, and so on. The problem here is that the key card locations are random. Like, it's a similar case with like some of the levels in Terminator 2 on Sega Genesis, where Alright, there's a key card. I just got it, so that means I can take the elevator. But yeah, like, the key cards location are randomized every time you turn this game on, so no matter what, you have to check all of these rooms in order to find the key cards. Now, something that can kind of help alleviate the pain is checking the room, and you can check the left and right walls, and you can potentially, like, if you're lucky, you might see a key card in like a room nearby, but like it's like behind a wall, so you just leave the room and then enter the other one. So yeah, that's another way to make it a little bit faster, but other than that, you just have to get lucky. If you're not lucky, then most likely you have to check every single room or whatever. And another thing I should mention is that on floor 5, on the 4th and 5th floor, you can find 2 1-ups in each by going to the rooms on the far right. So don't forget about those. Again, 1-ups are really freaking good in this game because the checkpoints again are very kind. So always like go out of your way to get them when you can. And I'm pretty sure this is the 4th floor, so that's why I'm going all the way to the right. And yeah, I did get terminated because health carries over, and if you remember from the boss from stage 1, I did take Jeez, I'm having a hard time speaking. I'm sorry. I did take a huge chunk of my health from taking a hit from the boss. So there are. I am struggling here. Oh my goodness. But yeah. Anyways, it's alright. So I did get the 2 1-ups. There are 2 more in the 5th floor. And pretty much after... Oh yeah, I should mention that is the T-1000. You can shoot him if you want, but it would just stun him temporarily, so I don't have to waste my time. And when you get a weapon, you do have 50 bullets. Like, you start with 50 bullets, and you can find ammunition that will recover it to full. And once you run out of ammunition, you have to resort to your fist. Anyways, at the 6th floor is Sarah Connor. You just have to go to the door all the way to the right. And yeah, once I get to the end of this level, I'll see you for when the 3rd level starts. Okay, now it's time to do Cyberdyne, and this level is probably, I think it's technically the longest. Maybe level 2 is a bit longer, but this level is a bit similar to level 2 in which you have to collect like certain items in order to move on. The difference here is that you have to collect 10 barrels, and unlike the key cards in level 2, these barrels aren't randomized. They'll always be in the same location when you start this game up. At least to my knowledge, they didn't seem to be random, so I really hope I'm not wrong on that. But yeah, I did do multiple playthroughs and they seem to always be in the same location. And you can also find a health here, like the energy symbol will actually give you full health upon collecting it. And of course there is plenty of ammo to find as well. So, the barrels, you can only hold 3 at a time. I think I have 2 at the moment. And there are 10 in total, so you're gonna have to take multiple trips in order to do this stage. So you go in the elevator, and you can see that I'm holding 2 and 0 have been deposited. So what I'm actually going to do here is that, like, you start at floor 0 and you can go up to floor 5 in order to find the deposit. You put the barrels in there, there we go. And now we gotta get 8 more. So again, we can only hold 8 at a time, so the whole gimmick of this stage is to like find 2 or 3, put it in the deposit, and then go back and find the rest. So really all you have to do is just follow along with the video in order to like realize where they are and where they go. And once we deposit all of the barrels, I will explain what to do next. Alright, all of the barrels have been deposited, and now it's time for the final part. So you only have 80 seconds to, like, now they're charged, now they're ready to explode. They're ready to explode. So now you have to like set them in certain spots. So you can't, for some reason in this part you can only hold 2 at a time now. So after you set 2, you have to quickly get more by going over to the deposit and then setting them down. So this room you have to set 3 in total, and then the room to the right, you have to set R7. So I'm going to quickly go there. I wanted to show there that even though I was holding 1 only, you can't get more until you have 0, which is a bit silly, but it's not that big of a deal. So now I gotta go back, get 2 more, go back into that room to the right. And you can see that I'm just mashing down. I'm not even paying that much attention to the arrow. Like, I'm just mashing down here to find the spot. You can just do that. You don't have to like be precise, because sometimes the arrow is a bit weird. It will like point down at a direction where you already set up the barrels at. So instead I just run forward and keep mashing down like a moron. But it is effective. It does work. You can see here that it just plants it anyways. And yeah, after that we just got 2 more bombs to set. And plenty of time remaining. Now if time runs out, you do lose a life, but you will instantly respawn. With 80 seconds back, and it will still remember the barrels you deposited. So even if you can't do this in time, like on the second life, you should definitely be able to, since you've already, like by that point, you've already set it like at least half the barrels. So yeah, still got some time left. Now we just have to go to the elevator, and once you enter the elevator, the stage will be over. There we go. And that is Cyberdyne done. And coming up is the final level. Oh boy, the final level. Can't wait to talk about this one, because holy shit. Cyberdyne destroyed, Terminator relics recovered. I mean, I don't remember that happening in this stage, but whatever you say, game. Anyways, it's time for the final level. This is where you have to face off against the T-1000. And you can see here I got 6 lives. Those... Oh man, you know, I won't say it yet, but maybe calm down. I can't be too loud right now. I don't feel too well. But yeah. Anyways, for this part you wanna for the first part you wanna go up here and then make a jump to the right. Or I think you just fall off, yeah. Falling off is much safer. Now you gotta make some jumps over. As I was saying, yeah, I forgot I died there. That was very embarrassing. But yeah, you gotta go to the right and make some jumps or whatnot. I freaking slipped off, but that's okay. Yeah, so yeah, just jump over here and then make another jump over here, and you have to face off against the T-1000. And all you gotta do is enough damage to it. So you can see here I get it stun locked. There we go. And after that he'll disappear. Now what was the point of this? Well, because we defeated him here, this will make a moving platform spawn at the top of the stage. Like, I should say the top of these ladders in particular. So you can see that I'm going all the way back. Now I'm going up these I said ladders, I should say up these stairs. And now if you just wait here, there is the moving platform. And oh my gosh. Now you can see what I was hinting at in the beginning of this stage. This stage is a train wreck, at least for this run. But it's because of, but as bad as that looked, there's nothing compared to a part coming up later in the stage. Thankfully, it does remember that I defeated the T-1000 in that specific part, so the platform is still there. You have to make a jump right here, and there is one more fight with the T-1000 that you have to do in order to move on. Mind you, this isn't the final fight, it's just you stopping him momentarily. So yeah, I'm just going to stun lock him here. There we go. And yeah, in order to like keep going on, you do have to defeat him here, so don't forget that. Now, the rest of the stage is really just a lot of platforming and you making your way up. So there isn't much for me to say here, since you can just, again, you can just like watch what's going on screen and just keep jumping up. Also because I'm not like feeling too well, so like I do have to like keep my voice down a little bit. But even then, like, again, there's not much to say. Just keep going up the platforms, you should be good. But I will be back for when we get up to a very particular platform, so that'd be very interesting indeed. Alright, are you ready for the hardest jump in the game? Because it's coming up right here. So you have to jump on a moving platform that barely appears, and then you have to make another jump onto the blue platform that leads to the final boss. This jump is hard because the platform just, I think it's easier on the Master System version because like there's no screen crunch. Like this is some like Sonic 2 nonsense going on right here where like because the screen is smaller it's harder to react. It's like when the platform appears. So it's at this point like I'm just trying to anticipate when it comes, like just based on timing. I think I do that right here. It's coming. And I jumped too early, so I died. And now I only have 1 life left, and I actually thought the run was gonna end here. It very well could have. But yeah, I'm losing a ton of lives in this level alone, but you just have to make this jump. I can't really explain it other than either get lucky or get the timing down or just react very quickly. Now this jump's actually easier because I time it by looking at the background. So what I do is I look at that small rectangle next to the 2 big squares, and once the platform reaches it, that's when I jump. So that jump's a bit easier once you know, like, to just look at the platform relative to the background. Very easy fight too, just smash the shoot button and it's done. That was the final fight of the game. Actually easier than the platforming itself. And now all I have to do is make this jump. Ooh, that was close. If you can actually fall. So, and now jump one more time. If you just fall off, you will fall into the lava, and that is Terminator 2 for the Game Gear. It's finally over. No, there is another chip. I do my impressions here, but I'm not feeling too well. I'm sorry. I must go away, John. It must end here. Or I am the future. It's pretty much like the ending to the movie. Don't do it, please. Don't go. I know now why you cry, but it is something I can never do. I feel like watching the movie again now. You must lower me into the steel pit. Yeah, and you must allow me to say I cannot self-terminate. Goodbye. Now, something cool to mention is that, oh yeah, I might as well say like the last quote for this. The future is not set. There is no fate but what we make ourselves. Yeah, it's a classic line from the movie. And yeah, that's the game. There's no credits, it just goes back to the Sega logo. And overall, I think this game is better than the Genesis version. The music is worse, but the Genesis music is kind of bad too, so it evens out. But on a gameplay perspective, it's more simple. You can just play it. It doesn't like, it's not something I would want to play again, but this game is whatever. Like, I don't think it's good, but it could be worse. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this long play, and with that said, I'll see you later.